Hello, and good evening. I hope you're all well. And tonight's topic is how to turn an argument into a conversation. A lot of people get really scared when I get into this conversation because arguments, sometimes they're just so draining in relationships. Not sometimes, every single time. So, when we get into relationships, the reason why we get into relationships is to be with a companion, to be happy, to have somebody to talk to, somebody we can share ideas with, somebody we can say, do you know what, today I'm not feeling that well, and they pick us up. But also, there's a misconception around relationship that happens when we get into relationships. Sometimes when we get into relationships, we think that this is my person, I own this person, and they've got to do what I say, or they've got to believe everything I say, or they've got to like everything I do. We start to get this sense of ownership towards the person we are in a relationship with, which can be detrimental to the relationship. So tip number 1, in your relationship, always remember that the person you're with still belongs to themselves. No matter you're married, no matter you're just in a mutual relationship, a partnership, that person still belongs to themselves. They give you what they want to share with you. Understand that. Anyway, so how do we turn an argument in a relationship into a conversation? Now, we all know, sometimes in relationships we argue about mega silly little things like who's doing the dishes today, like pick up your socks, like why didn't you lock the car door, like things that really literally do not make our lives move forward. And why is that? It goes back to that reason that I told you before. When we're in a relationship, sometimes we think we own the person and they've got to do everything that we say and they belong to us, which is a really big misconception, and it creates a rift and it creates a turmoil inside your heart and your mind when that person doesn't do what you expected them to do. So, hi Nick, thanks for logging on. That's my partner. That's the one I'm in a relationship with. And we used to argue quite a lot. But I've always known how not to argue with people because I'm not an argumentative person. I do not like it. I don't get involved in it. I say my part and then I walk away. You take it or you leave it. Yeah. So if you're logging on, just say hello so I can say hi back. And if you're new to this, hi there. My name's Charmaine. I'm a mindset expert and a health coach for working mothers. I help mothers create an amazing work-life balance by regaining their confidence, vitality, and perception after children and when they're returning to work after maternity. And today's topic is on how to turn an argument into a conversation. Now, I'm just going to go through the steps because I don't want to say far too much and confuse everybody else because my mind just goes poof when I start talking. So I'm just going to go through the steps and you can implement them into your own relationship and see how we go. Right. So, number 1, when you get into a conversation with your other half, be she female or be he a man or whatever, I don't know. Always know your worth, right? As a human being, you have got your own aura, you've got your own thoughts and your own opinions, and you've got every single right to voice those opinions and be heard. And when you do that, when you speak out, you also open up how you hear other people. Because when your intention is to be heard by other people, you will intentionally find it in you to hear other people and to find a meeting point, a middle ground where you can discuss things without arguing. So always know your worth. There's no point in a relationship or in a conversation to go into it thinking, I'm just going to throw in a couple of words to hurt the other person because, well, they're hurting me and I'm just going to do it back because then that is not a relationship. That is a competition, and that is detrimental to your relationship. So always know your worth. You've got every right to say what you want to say, as long as it's not hurting somebody else. And you've got every single right to be heard. And you also learn how to hear other people. Number 2, set your standards, right? This is going to go into step number 3. But always set your standards. Always make sure that the person you're with understands who you are, where you're coming from, and what you will accept as the level of standard for what is okay for you to accept in your heart and in your soul and in your mind. Right? When you don't set your standards and you just go with what other people are doing or what other people are saying, it's easy for you to get walked over. And the minute you get walked over, you lose your confidence. You lose your energy. You lose your drive to working towards a happy relationship. So always set your standards so other people can understand who you are. They can understand where you're coming from. They can understand what is acceptable when they're talking to you. And number 3, command respect. Now, I don't mean force people to respect you. When you set your standards, people respect you automatically because they know that you don't take shit. Right? Sorry for swearing. That is the only word I use when I swear. But when you set your standards, people know that you don't take shit. Right? And when they know you don't take shit, they don't walk all over you. They will speak to you according to the standard that you have set, that you have accepted, that they know is the only one acceptable. Number 4, speak your truth. It goes back to that thing I said before. When you're having a conversation with somebody, an argument, right? When you're having a disagreement with somebody and you've got something that you want to say, instead of throwing in little words like calling names, like putting somebody down, like bringing in something from the past that you say, oh, well, you did this last time, or you did that last time. When you do that, you are not speaking your truth in order to get results for the conversation that you are having with that person. If you want results in the conversation you are having right here and right now, you speak your truth about what is going on right here and right now. The best thing to do is to talk about how you are feeling about what's happened that caused this disagreement. And then you leave it to the other person to accept what you've said. And when they do that, or even if they don't do that, because yet again, we don't control the other person. They choose the way they respond to you. You then just have to set your standards and set your limit and command respect. So when you speak your truth, it is then up to that person to say, well, I've heard what you said and I absolutely understand you and I believe you and I'm going to change my behavior and I'm going to speak to you in a much better way. But when you don't speak your truth, the other person will leave that conversation thinking, what was that argument about again? And then the issue is not actually fixed. In order to fix the issue, speak your truth. Number 5, be confident in your decision. If you're having an argument about whoever didn't lock the door last night or whomever didn't fix the bed this morning, you have got to be confident in your decision. You've got to step into that conversation knowing exactly what you want to get out of it. Now, when you know exactly what you get out of it, you become confident in your decision to get that result. And this all happens in your mind. When you step into a conversation for the point of getting aggravated, and giving the other person aggravation, you don't speak confidently. And when you don't speak confidently, you don't get results. So be confident in your decision as to why you stepped into this conversation in the first place and work towards getting results for that disagreement. Number 6, accept difference. This also goes back to the first point we spoke about. It is absolutely okay for two people in a relationship to disagree on one point, no matter who's right or who is wrong. It is absolutely okay. When you learn to accept that the other person is not you, they've got their own mind, they've got their own thoughts, they've got their own drive, they've got their own goals, and it is acceptable for them to be who they are, you then accept their difference. And when you show them that level of acceptance, they mirror your behavior and they accept your decision. They accept your difference. That argument then becomes not an argument, but a disagreement, a conversation of difference of opinion. And that is amazing. To have that, it is amazing, because then your conversations and your disagreements wash out very fast, just like that. They don't go into heated conversations where you're feeling riled up, they're feeling riled up, everybody's wound up, and you're both swearing at each other, loud voices, your children are scared upstairs, wondering and worrying that mommy and daddy are not getting on well. It just becomes okay, so you say that you locked the door, I say you didn't lock the door, but we are still alive. Let's just work in making sure that we both check that the door has been locked when we go to bed. Now that is a conversation, and that is an agreement. It's a disagreement to an agreement. And number 7, don't waste your energy, right? If you've tried all of these steps, you have spoken with confidence, you have said your truth, you have commanded respect, and you have set your standards and said to the other person, this is what I'll accept when we're speaking to each other, and this is what I don't accept. And they carrying on meeting you at this level and shouting at your face and really having a go at you, and you are not interested anymore. Don't stand around there listening and waiting for something to change, because then they have decided in their heads and in their hearts that they don't actually care about getting results in that conversation, but you do. So don't waste your energy. Leave that conversation. Allow them to carry on venting their anger, because that is how they're feeling inside. Feelings are fine. They're absolutely okay. It's just what we do with those feelings that matters. So accept that person's difference and don't waste your energy trying to convince them to do what you want. Always remember, in a relationship, that person does not belong to you. They belong to themselves. You belong to yourself. Your thoughts, your mind, your heart, your soul, what you put in your body, what you eat and what you don't eat, all of that belongs to yourself. And so does that other person. So when you get into a disagreement, do one thing before you go into that disagreement. If you're not happy about something that your partner's done, do one thing. Put this thought in your head before you start speaking. I am going into this as a conversation. I am going into this as a conversation because I want to speak to the other person so they understand where I'm coming from. Don't go into it with anger and frustration and picking an argument, because that other person then mirrors exactly what you're doing, copies you, and then it becomes a shouting battle. I hope that's really helpful for you. All of these steps are very easy to implement. Trust me. I have gone for 4 years. Hello, Salah. Thank you for watching. I have gone for 4 years with my partner. I am well, Salah. Thank you. How are you? My partner has been hot-headed for years. I'm sorry, Nick, but it's the truth. And we have fallen out quite a lot over the years, until I decided it has to stop. And the minute I decided to put these steps into place, he followed straight through, because he copied and mirrored my behavior. And it is so easily done. Now, I hope this has been very, very helpful for you. And you can implement these steps into your relationship and into your discussions and into your conversations. And remember, the more you waste your energy and the more you waste your time arguing with people and trying to convince people to understand who you are and what you're doing and what you're happy about and not happy about, the more energy you're wasting. Now, energy is very, very important. It is about the one thing that allows us to move about. It's the one thing that allows us to dream, to have goals, to leave the house, to be able to enjoy life. It is the one reason why we eat, so we can get vital energy into our body. And that energy gets stored in our cells and in our mind. And if your mind is flittering and flying around everywhere, trying to grasp every single thing around you and not being able to, you will find yourself with less energy to work when you go to work, to do your tasks as well as you should do, and to focus on them and to be amazing at your job. You will find yourself having less energy to spend time with your family and to enjoy your family. And that is really, really important, because life is for living. And every single day should be fun and exciting, and we should live it like it's the last. Because here is a lesson that I have learned for years and years and years. Life, the amount of time we've got on earth is finite, but time is infinite. There's only one you. And when your time is done on this earth, that's it. You don't get a tomorrow or a chance to do it all over again. And it can happen at any day. So live every single day like it's your last. And really, really enjoy it. I hope that helps you. I'll speak to you soon.